The message arrived by mistake, and Lena Carter knew it the second she saw it. A photo lit up her phone screen late in the afternoon, just as the sun dipped behind the apartment buildings across the street. It showed her childhood home glowing, with warm lights. People stood close together, smiling, glasses raised. At the center was her father, standing tall, proud, his arm around a man Lena recognized instantly, her Uncle Mark, back after 20 years away. A banner hung behind them. Welcome home. Lena's breath caught. Her fingers tightened around the phone as if the image might slip away. She hadn't heard a word about this. No call, no message, no warning. And yet there it was, clear and loud. A reunion. The reunion. Seconds later, another message appeared in the family group chat. Short, careless, wrong chat. It's just a reunion. Just a reunion. Lena sat down slowly on the edge of her couch. The room around her suddenly too quiet. She could hear the hum of traffic outside, the ticking of the wall clock, her own breathing growing shallow. This wasn't just any gathering. This was the return of a man whose absence had shaped her life in ways no one ever talked about. When her uncle left, Lena had been 12, old enough to remember the fights, the slammed doors, the silence that followed. Over the years, everyone else moved on. Her father buried himself in work. The family learned how not to ask questions. But Lena didn't forget. She wrote letters when she was young, awkward ones at first, then longer, thoughtful ones as she grew older. She asked about his life, told him about hers. She became the only thread still connecting him to the family he left behind. And now, he was back, and she was not invited. The hurt came fast, sharp, then settled deep. Lena told herself there must be a reason. Maybe it was last minute. Maybe someone assumed she was busy. She picked up her phone and called her father, needing to hear his voice, needing the mistake to be explained away. He answered on the third ring, his tone distracted, cheerful. There was noise in the background, laughter, clinking dishes, music, playing low. "Dad," Lena said, keeping her voice steady. "What's going on?" There was a pause, just long enough to matter. "Oh," he said lightly. "You saw that?" "Yes," she replied. "Why didn't you tell me?" Another pause. Longer this time. "It's nothing big," he said. "Just a small reunion. Family only." Lena closed her eyes. "I am family." "I know," he said quickly, "that the house is crowded and emotions are high. I didn't think you'd want to deal with all that. Didn't think." The words stung more than anger would have. Lena waited for him to say more, to correct himself, to invite her. He didn't. "So you decided for me," she said. Her father sighed. "Lena, don't make this into something it's not." But it already was. She ended the call before her voice could break. For a long moment she sat there, staring at the blank screen of her phone. The photo replayed in her mind. The smiles, the warmth, the space where she should have been. This wasn't the first time she had been left out. It was just the first time it was so clear. Growing up, Lena learned early how to be useful. She helped without being asked. She listened more than she spoke. After her mother passed, she became quiet support, the one who remembered birthdays, checked in on relatives, held things together without ever being noticed for it. She didn't complain. She didn't demand. She believed that if she gave enough, she would belong. But belonging, she realized now, had rules she was never told about. As evening settled in, Lena walked to the window and watched lights turn on in other apartments. Somewhere across town, her family was celebrating, telling stories, filling in the gaps of 20 missing years. And no one had thought to save her a seat. The pain shifted into something else denser, steadier. Not rage. Not yet. More like clarity. This wasn't carelessness. This was choice. Her father had chosen comfort over honesty. He had chosen peace over fairness. And in doing so, he had chosen to leave her out of the one moment she had earned through years of quiet loyalty. Lena thought of the letters she kept in a small box under her bed. Every word she had written. Every reply she had received. Proof of effort. Proof of presence. Proof that she mattered, even when no one saw it. She felt something inside her harden. Not into cruelty, but into resolve. If they believed she didn't belong, they were wrong. And if they could forget her role in this family story so easily, she would make sure the truth was no longer invisible. Outside, the night grew darker. Lena picked up her phone again, not to call, not to argue, but to take a screenshot of the photo. She saved it carefully, like evidence. This was where it began. Not with shouting, not with tears, but with the quiet understanding that some betrayals don't come with anger. They come wrapped in smiles and excuses. And they change you all the same. The days after the reunion passed in a strange blur for Lena. Life moved on around her, but inside, everything felt unsettled. She went to work, answered emails, smiled when required. Yet her thoughts never strayed far from that photo. It replayed, in her mind like a scene she couldn't pause or escape. Each time she remembered it, the feeling grew sharper, more focused, less like pain and more like purpose. At first, she tried to ignore it. She told herself it didn't matter. Families made mistakes. People forgot things. But the more she tried to move on, the more the silence bothered her. No apology came. No explanation followed. No one checked in to ask how she felt. The absence of concern spoke louder than any argument could. Lena began to see patterns she had once brushed aside. She noticed how often her father made decisions without asking her, how he spoke about unity while avoiding hard conversations, how being easy had slowly made her invisible. She realized that the reunion wasn't an isolated event. It was the result of years of being taken for granted. At night, sleep came in short bursts. Her thoughts raced, jumping from memory to memory. She remembered mailing her first letter to her uncle, nervous but hopeful. She remembered waiting weeks for a reply and feeling proud when it arrived. She remembered telling her father about the calls she had made, only to be met with a distracted nod. Those moments, once small, now felt heavy with meaning. That was when the idea took shape. Though it wasn't loud or dramatic. It arrived quietly, like a thought that refused to leave. What if she stopped staying silent? What if she showed everyone the truth? Not lies. Not anger. Just facts. The letters were still there, neatly stacked. Dated. Honest. They showed who had kept the connection alive when others gave up. They showed effort, care, and loyalty. For the first time, Lena understood the power she held without ever meaning to. The thought of using them made her chest tighten. She wasn't sure if it was fear or excitement. Part of her felt justified. Another part felt uneasy. She didn't want to hurt anyone. She just wanted to stop being overlooked. During the day, she caught herself planning without meaning to. She imagined the next family gathering. She pictured herself standing up, speaking clearly, letting the truth fill the room. In her mind, faces change. Shock. Guilt. For once, they would see her. But when the image faded, doubt crept in. Would it really help? Or would it turn her into something she didn't recognize? She thought about her father often, not as the man who hurt her, but as the man who raised her. She knew his flaws, his fear of conflict, his need to keep things calm, even when calm came at a cost. In his mind, he hadn't betrayed her. He had avoided trouble. He had protected peace, not understanding that made things more complicated, not easier. Meanwhile, her father felt the weight of the reunion in ways he didn't expect. He told himself Lena would understand. She always did. Yet he noticed her absence in the days that followed. The calls she didn't make. The messages she didn't send. Her silence pressed on him, even as he avoided addressing it. He believed he had done the right thing. He believed emotions would have run too high. He believed keeping things simple was better for everyone. Admitting otherwise would mean facing his own failure, and he wasn't ready for that dot back in her apartment. Lena opened the box of letters one evening and spread them across the table. She didn't read them all. She didn't need to. Just seeing them was enough. Each one was a reminder of effort that went unseen. Her hands shook slightly as she put them back. This wasn't about revenge, she told herself. It was about balance, about truth, about refusing to stay silent. Yet the line between justice and revenge felt thin. She asked herself hard questions she had avoided for years. Was she willing to risk breaking what little peace existed? Was being right worth creating new wounds? Or was silence simply another form of self-betrayal? The more she thought, the more trapped she felt between two versions of herself. One who stayed quiet and swallowed the pain. One who spoke up and faced the consequences, whatever they might be. Time moved forward, pushing her toward a decision. A message appeared in the family chat announcing a small dinner the following week. Nothing special, her father said. Just a chance to get together again. Lena stared at the screen for a long time. This was the moment she had been preparing for. Whether she realized it or not, the letters were ready. The words were forming in her mind. The chance to reveal everything was close enough to feel real. Her heart pounded. Not with anger, but with fear of what might come next. Revenge promised relief. Truth promised risk. And silence promised more of the same. As Lena closed the chat and set her phone down, she understood one thing clearly. Whatever she chose, she would no longer pretend she hadn't been hurt. The cost of staying quiet had already been paid. The night of the dinner arrived faster than Lena expected. The sky was dark when she parked outside her childhood home, the porch light glowing like a quiet warning. She sat in the car for a moment, hands on the steering wheel, heart beating. Hard but steady. The small box rested in her bag on the passenger seat. She hadn't opened it all day, but she could feel its weight, real and heavy. Inside the house. Voices rose and fell. Familiar sounds. Familiar laughter. Lena stepped out of the car and closed the door softly, as if noise itself might change her mind. She walked to the door, took one breath, and went in. The smell of food hit her first. Then faces turned. Smiles appeared, some warm, some surprised. Her father looked up from the table and froze for a second before forcing a smile. "You made it," he said, as if unsure. "Yeah," Lena replied. "I did." She took a seat and listened. Stories filled the room, most of them about the past. Out years she had lived through, but was rarely asked about. Her uncle spoke about his time away, about mistakes, about starting over. People nodded, understanding, forgiving. Lena watched quietly, studying every word, every glance. As the evening moved on, the pressure inside her grew. This was the moment. She felt it in the pauses, in the way her father avoided her eyes, in the space between sentences. The truth waited, ready. Then her uncle stood and lifted his glass. "I just want to say," he began. "Coming back hasn't been easy, but seeing all of you here reminds me why family matters." Applause followed. Smiles spread. Lena felt her chest tighten. Family matters. The words echoed inside her like a challenge. Her uncle continued. "I'm grateful for everyone who kept the door open for me." That was it. Lena stood up. The room went quiet. Chairs creaked. All eyes turned toward her. Her heart raced, but her voice didn't fail her. "I'm glad you're back," she said, looking directly at her uncle. "And I'm glad we're talking about family." Her father shifted uncomfortably. Lena felt the box in her bag brush against her leg. One move and everything would change. She could take it out. She could place the truth on the table and let it speak for her. The thought was sharp and tempting. She paused. In that pause, time seemed to stretch. She saw herself from the outside, standing there with years of unspoken effort behind her. She thought about what would happen next. Shock, confusion, blame. The room would fill with noise, not understanding. She realized something then. Revenge would not give her the peace she wanted. It would only prove she had been hurt, not that she had value. Lena swallowed and continued. "When you left," she said, calm but firm, "some of us felt it more than others. And when you came back, not everyone was invited to celebrate that return." A few people exchanged glances. Her father looked up sharply. "I didn't know about this dinner," Lena went on. "I found out by accident. And when I asked why, I was told it was nothing. Just a reunion." Her voice didn't shake, but the truth carried weight. "I'm not saying this to cause trouble," she said. "I'm saying it because being left out hurts, especially when you've spent years showing up, even when no one noticed." The silence was thick now. Her uncle lowered his glass slowly. "I didn't know," he said. "I honestly didn't." "I believe you," Lena replied. "That's part of the problem." Her father stood halfway, then sat back down, his face tight. "Lena," he said, "we can talk about this later." "No," she said softly. "This is later." She turned to the room. "I don't want apologies. I don't want arguments. I just want it understood that silence can hurt as much as words." Her hands relaxed at her sides. The box stayed where it was, unopened, unused. Her uncle nodded slowly. "I'm sorry," he said again, this time louder. "I should have asked." Lena met his eyes. "Thank you." Her father finally stood. He looked older in that moment, smaller somehow. "I thought I was protecting everyone," he said. "I didn't think—" "I know," Lena said. "But not thinking still has consequences." The room remained quiet. No one clapped. No one rushed to fill the space. And that was okay. Lena picked up her bag. "I'm going to go," she said. "I just needed to say that." As she walked toward the door, her heart felt light and heavy at the same time. She hadn't exposed anyone. She hadn't taken revenge. But she had spoken. Outside, the cool air hit her face. She took a deep breath and let it out slowly. Her phone buzzed in her bag, but she ignored it. Whatever came next could wait. She got into her car and sat there, staring at the house one last time. The porch light still glowed, but it no longer felt like a barrier. Lena started the engine. She drove away, knowing she had reached the edge of revenge and chosen not to step over it. Not because it wasn't deserved, but because it wasn't needed. For the first time, she felt seen. And that was enough. The days after the dinner felt quiet, but not empty. Lena noticed the difference right away. The noise in her head softened. The sharp edge she had been carrying began to dull. She still thought about what happened, but it no longer controlled her every moment. The first call came 2 days later. Her phone buzzed while she was making coffee. She stared at the screen before answering. It was her father. His voice sounded different. Slower. Careful. "I've been thinking," he said. "About what you said." Lena didn't rush him. Silence had taught her patience. "I didn't mean to hurt you," he continued. "I convinced myself I was doing the right thing, that keeping things simple would protect everyone. I didn't see what it was costing you." She closed her eyes, leaning against the counter. "I know," she said. "That's why it hurt." He didn't argue. That alone felt new. "I'm sorry," he said. "Not the kind of sorry that fixes everything, just the kind that admits I was wrong." Lena let the words settle. They didn't erase the past, but they changed its shape. "Thank you," she sighed. "That matters." They talked longer than they had in years. No raised voices, no excuses, just honesty. When the call ended, Lena felt tired, but lighter. Her uncle reached out next. A long message. He said he hadn't known about the reunion plans. He said her words stayed with him. He thanked her for being honest when it would have been easier to stay quiet. Lena replied simply. She didn't need to explain herself again. Being heard once was enough. Life slowly returned to its rhythm. Workdays filled her schedule. Evenings felt calmer. The urge to replay the betrayal faded, replaced by something steadier. Understanding. One night, Lena took the box of letters out. From under her bed, she placed it on the table and opened it. This time, she read them. Not with anger. Not with a plan. Just with clarity. She saw her younger self in those pages. Hopeful. Loyal. Stronger than she realized at the time. She didn't destroy the letters. She didn't share them either. She closed the box and put it away. Not as a weapon, but as a reminder of her worth. Weeks passed. Another family gathering was planned. This time, Lena was invited first. No confusion. No silence. When she arrived, the mood felt different. People listened more. Asked questions. Made space. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. Her father caught her eye from across the room and gave a small nod. Not proud. Not defensive. Just present. Later that evening, Lena stepped outside alone. The night air was cool. She thought about how close she had come to choosing revenge. How easy it would have been to expose everything and walk away feeling powerful for a moment. She realized something then. Revenge had never been about hurting them. It had been about proving she mattered. And she didn't need revenge for that anymore. Standing there, she understood the cost of both paths. Revenge would have burned fast and faded just as quickly, leaving damage behind. Speaking the truth had taken courage, but it had opened a door instead of closing one. Not everyone gets that ending, she knew. Sometimes revenge feels like the only voice left. But for her, restraint had done what anger could not. Lena looked back through the window at her family. Flawed, human, learning. Slowly, she smiled, not because everything was fixed, but because she had chosen herself without becoming someone else. The pain hadn't disappeared. It had transformed. And that was the real victory.